Good morning, travelers. In today's video, we're visiting France's oldest city with a rich Mediterranean history. Its sites mix history, culture, and the natural beauty of its coast, Marseille. Marseille was founded around 600 BC by Greek sailors who came from Phocaea in Asia Minor. The city's original name was Massalia. Here are two fun facts you might not have known. Even though the French national anthem is called La Marseillaise, it wasn't written in Marseille. It was composed in Strasbourg in 1792. However, it became popular across the country when volunteers from Marseille adopted it and sang it as they marched to Paris to join the revolution. Soap making in Marseille is a tradition, and the original recipe says the soap must have at least 72% olive oil, which makes it a really good and well-loved product. But let's not wait any longer and start exploring Marseille. The Basilica of Notre-Dame de la Garde is lovingly called the Good Mother by the people of Marseille. This basilica sits high above the city on a 149-meter hill. Even though this spot has been a lookout and defense post since the Middle Ages, the current basilica was built in the 19th century on top of an old chapel. Its construction, which took 40 years, is in the Roman Byzantine style. Its purpose wasn't just religious, it was also a symbol of the Second Empire's wealth and power. The basilica is the highest point in Marseille and offers a 360-degree view of the city, the Old Port, the Frioul Islands, and the Calanques. The giant golden statue of the Virgin and Child that sits on top of the bell tower is one of the biggest in the world. It's over 11 meters tall and weighs 9.79 tons. The inside of the basilica is full of model ships, paintings, and plaques left by sailors, fishermen, and their families to thank the Virgin for keeping them safe at sea or to ask for her help. It's a touching sign of Marseille's strong connection to the sea. During World War II, the Germans set up an anti-aircraft military base on the hill, which led the French army and the Allies to bomb the basilica to free the city. Today you can still see the marks from those battles on the walls. The Old Port is the historic heart of Marseille. For more than 26 centuries, it was the center of the city's trade, military, and social life. Even though port activities moved to the current industrial port in the 19th century, the Old Port is still the main hub and tourist center of Marseille. Every morning, local fishermen sell their daily catch on the dock. This morning, fish market is a centuries-old tradition that's still going strong. The Ombrière, a mirrored canopy designed by architect Norman Foster, has become one of the port's most unique attractions. Visitors can see their own funny reflections and the city's reflection on the ceiling. Le Panier is the oldest neighborhood in Marseille. It was built right where the first Greek settlers lived. Its narrow, steep streets, colorful houses, and small squares are a maze with a village feel that's different from the busy city center. Its name, which means the basket, comes from an inn with that name that was in the heart of the neighborhood in the 17th century. For centuries, Le Panier was a neighborhood for fishermen and ordinary people. Its reputation as a place for outcasts and criminals changed starting in the 1980s, when artists and craftspeople moved in and began to fix up the buildings, filling the neighborhood with workshops and galleries. The tradition of making the famous Marseille soap started in this neighborhood in the 17th century. Even though production became industrial, you can still find small shops selling traditional soap. The Museum of European and Mediterranean Civilizations, MUSEM, opened in 2013. It's France's first national museum dedicated to the Mediterranean and its cultures. It's in a special spot at the entrance to the Old Port, right next to Fort Saint-Jean, and it's connected by a walkway. Its modern and bold design, with a concrete mesh that looks like a fishing net, has made it a city landmark. The 130-meter walkway that connects the museum to the old Fort Saint-Jean is one of its most striking features. It shows the link between Marseille's ancient history and its cultural future. The main part of the museum's outside is covered with a special concrete structure that makes shadows inside that look like a forest. Museum is special because it's both a place for exhibits and a place for life. Its gardens, restaurants, and public areas are free to enter, making it a social space as well as a cultural one. The Calanques National Park was made a national park in 2012. It's the first national park in Europe that includes land, sea, and city edge areas. The Calanques are a one-of-a-kind rock formation in the world, made of limestone cliffs that drop into the sea, forming small bays with turquoise water. This natural beauty stretches along 20 kilometers of coastline between Marseille and the town of Cassis. The Cosquer Cave is an underwater cave that has Stone Age cave art. Discovered in 1985 by diver Henry Cosquer, it has drawings and paintings of animals like seals, penguins, bison, and horses, some as old as 27,000 years. The cave's entrance is underwater, which has kept the art safe, but also means people can't go in. A copy has been built, so you can see it at Mukum. The Calanques are home to amazing wildlife, with more than 140 protected kinds of animals and plants. Marseille Cathedral, whose full name is Cathedral Basilica of Saint Mary Major, is one of the city's largest and most spectacular landmarks. Its current construction began in 1852. It was designed in the Romanesque Byzantine style, similar to that of Notre-Dame de la Garde, to compete in size and splendor with the great cathedrals of Europe. The current cathedral was built right next to the old Major, a much smaller Romanesque cathedral that is still preserved. Despite initial plans to demolish the old one, it was decided to preserve it, and today both coexist, offering a fascinating architectural contrast and a glimpse into the city's history. The cathedral was built with valuable materials from all over the world. White Carrara marble, green stone from Florence, onyx from Tunisia, and Venetian mosaics. In the major cathedral, you can find the tomb of Louis-Joseph Napoleon Bonaparte, a grandnephew of Napoleon I and a descendant of the royal family. It's a little-known fact, but his mausoleum is located inside the cathedral. Fort Saint-Jean is located at the entrance to the old port. This fort has origins dating back to the 12th century. Originally, it was a crucial starting point for the Crusades. In the 15th century, King René of Provence built the square tower to improve the port's defense. However, its current appearance is largely the work of Louis XIV, who, after a rebellion by the people of Marseille, ordered the construction of two fortresses, Fort Saint-Jean and Fort Saint-Nicolas, to keep the city in check. Today, the fort is connected to the Museum of European and Mediterranean Civilizations by an impressive concrete and steel walkway. The round tower was built in the 17th century as a watchtower, visible to ships from over 20 kilometers away. During the French Revolution, the fort served as a state prison. Later, in World War II, it was occupied by the Germans and used as an ammunition depot. The explosion of this depot in 1944 caused the destruction of much of its original buildings, Longchamp Palace. This majestic palace was built to commemorate an event of vital importance to the city, the arrival of water from the Durance River through a canal. Marseille suffered from a chronic water shortage, and the canal project, started in 1839, took 10 years to complete. To celebrate this engineering achievement and the prosperity it would bring to the city, Longchamp Palace, a monumental building inaugurated in 1869, was constructed. The palace is made up of two wings that extend on either side of an impressive central fountain. One of them houses the Museum of Fine Arts, the oldest museum in Marseille, and the other, the Natural History Museum. The park behind the palace housed the Marseille Zoo from 1855 to 1987. If you walk through the garden, you can still see the remains of the cages and buildings that once housed the animals. The entrance to the monument is adorned with sculptures of lions and tigers by the famous animal artist Antoine-Louis Barré. The Château d'If was built between 1524 and 1531 by order of King Francis I on a small islet in the Frioul archipelago. Unlike the forts at the harbour entrance, this was Marseille's first true fortress, designed to defend the coast from invasions, monitor the fleet, and of course, control the people of Marseille. Despite its defensive purpose, it was never attacked, and its main function ended up being that of a prison, especially for political and religious prisoners. The castle is world famous for being the place of imprisonment of the protagonist of Alexandre Dumas' novel, The Count of Monte Cristo. Although the character is fictional, you can visit Edmond Dante's cell, complete with the hole through which he communicated with Abbé Faria. This place is undoubtedly the castle's main attraction and has cemented its legend. The castle had cells of different categories. Rich or high-status prisoners could pay for cells with windows and fireplaces, while the poorest were confined to damp, lightless dungeons known as pits. The prison was finally closed in 1890 and opened to the public that same year, becoming a very popular tourist spot. And so we come to the end. I hope this tour of Marseille's most fascinating places has inspired you to visit them. Every corner, from the majestic Notre-Dame de la Garde Basilica to the historic alleys of Le Panier, tells a unique story waiting to be discovered. And if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe for more adventures and leave us a comment telling us what your favorite place in Marseille is. See you next time.